That's the similarities. Do that work again one more time? Thank you, man, for coming. One of the Jewish calendar is meant to go by actual moon sightings. It's meant to be that witnesses see the new moon and they come to Yerushalayim and they have a whole big feast. There's a new moon and they declare the new month and there's a special song and so on and Hallel and Yerushalayim. And now we have a yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Moon dance. Yeah. Wonderful night. Yes. So what we have now, the calendar that we have now, was created by the last high court of Eretz Yisrael, the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. His name is Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, and they did all the math for and there are certain things that every year are the same, certain simanim, like signs, like it's more than quirks. It's like it's like what's the word, like like by, you can tell a lot about a person by their idiosyncrasies, syncrasy is related to synchronicity. Like any case, there are certain days, certain holidays that are always the same day as each other. For instance, the first day of Pesach is always the same day as Tisha B'Av, the same day of the week. Yeah, they have a simon for, right. It's right at right the light. So right, Aleph of Pesach is the Taf, the Tisha B'Av, and another simon is Peleg, which is Purim Lag. That the day of the week that Purim comes out is always meaning the 14th, the 14th of Adar, is always the same day of the week that Lag BaOmer is, and the 2 days are very deeply connected. A week from tonight is going to be Lag BaOmer. No, Chevra, I'm not. I would love to still have a shir. Do you think people want to come and do a shir on Lag BaOmer together? I know everybody's going to be. We'll see.
Maybe where?
In Meron?
No,
oh, it is. Yeah, I think they're closing it. Yeah.
Only allow 1,500 people.
Yeah, so we have to do something else.
Last year is
In Beit Shemesh. Right, maybe come to Beit Shemesh.
Oh,
You guys, are you doing it?
they're doing it.
Oh yes, let's actually do it this year. Yeah. We'll figure that out. We can figure out some transportation. Yeah. Yes, we'll do some Zohar on the farm. Yes. Yes. Amazing. So, so there's a deep connection between Purim and Lag BaOmer. One of the connections is that a certain kind of infiniteness, a certain kind of beyondness, On Purim, it's expressed in wine and chayvin is lebesume, and Lag BaOmer, it's expressed in fire and music, right? It's Lag BaOmer, just whoa, l'chaim. So because both of them are about a love and a connectivity that we have with Hashem that can't be contained. It's just so big. And children are especially connected, both of these holidays. Children are so connected to Purim. And children in Eretz Yisrael, you see children, it looks like, like these like insects who can carry things 10 times their size. You like kids walking down the street, like a 6-year-old kid with like
that's the drawer.
Yeah, with that.
What
Carrying, like the foundation of a skyscraper around. It's like
anything that fires them.
and then they can toss it. You're like, it's like does a flip in the air and lands on. Yeah. So Hashem, it's so good. So I want to. We always start with a pasuk that we're on in the Megillah, but for today I'm going to start with a keta from the Zohar HaKadosh, and then we'll go into the pasuk, and we'll come back to the piece of Zohar. This is from Daf Daled Amud Aleph in the Hakdama of the Zohar HaKadosh. And it's talking, was related to Lag BaOmer. Was the day that Rabbi Shimon passed into the higher realms, and here in Daf Daled Amud Aleph, Ishtatach Rabbi Chia ba'arav v'nashach la'af. Rabbi Chia who was one of the main students of Rabbi Shimon, was lying down on the ground over the grave of Rabbi Shimon, and just kissing the ground, and just crying and saying, Afra, Afra. Earth, earth, kamakashi kadal. You have such, you're so stiff-necked, he's saying to the earth. Kama at bechatzife, dechol machmade ena is balenbach. All those who are desired by the eyes to see are swallowed by you. Yeah, Rabbi Chia is saying, lying on Rabbi Shimon's grave.
And again, all those desires.
All the kol machmade ha'ayin are swallowed up in you, are buried within you, right? Kol amudei neharin da'alma teichel v'tidok. All the great columns of light of the world, you eat up. Rabbi Chia is lying on Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's kever saying this, right? To the earth, like, he's crying and kissing the earth and saying, how could you swallow up the great columns of light? All the tzaddikim are in you, in the earth, right? Kama at chatzifa, you're so chutzpahdik, you earth, he says. Right? But Tzina Kadisha, the Venar Alma, the great candle who lights up the whole universe, which is Rabbi Shimon. Shlita Ravava Mimana, he was the mamish, he was like the imperial ruler of on high and on below. This Chusei Mekayim Alma, in his merit, the whole world, the whole universe exists. His Balibach is now buried within you. And then he called out to Rabbi Shimon. And he said, Rabbi Shimon, Nehiru de Batzina, Rabbi Shimon, light of the candle. Nehiru de Almin, light of all worlds. And Bali be'afra, you, even though you've been swallowed in the earth, Vant Kayam, but you are called alive. You are alive, right? You may be dead, but you're grateful, right? V'nahag alma, and your words are still running the world, running everything. He was like, paused for a second. V'amar afra lotis goy lotis mashim be'emuda da alma da Rabbi Shimon lo balibach. There's no, don't think, earth, that you are like, you've got Rabbi Shimon. You ain't got Rabbi Shimon. He's just taking a rest, Rabbi Chia then stood up and started crying. From that day on, they fasted for 40 days. That they wanted to, they were directed to this. Mefarshim say 40 days is the sod of tshuva, the bina. Bina is the inyan of 40 days. Mem, yom, that they should be able to see Rabbi Shimon. Amru leisle ant mishayla mechamale. And Shemaim at first says you're not yet meritorious to see him. They cried and fasted another 40 days. Is Chaziule bechazva, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar Brei, and they saw Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar his son. The Havulan, the Miladad, and Rabbi Yossi, that they were learning the great secret that Rabbi Yossi had taught. The Havukama, Alfin, Tzaisin, there were thousands of souls listening to their words. Chaim, Chaim. Adahachi, Chama Kama Gadfin Ravin Elaine. In the meantime, they saw a whole bunch of winged angels that had come to fly them up. I guess it's sort of the heavenly elevator system. A bunch of winged angels came to take them up to where Rabbi Shimon was. Usliku alayu Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar Brei. Usliku l'mesifta derekia. Oh, sorry, not for Rabbi Chia and who was Rabbi Chia with? Just Rabbi Chia, right? Or Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yossi. That they it was they were lifting Rabbi Shimon and his son even higher. And then they were bringing them back. They were bringing back down. And they were shining like a whole new light. They took them up to some high place. They came back shining extra bright. When the hero Yatir Minahora de Ziva de Shimsha, shining brighter than the light of the sun. Gewalt. Love the Zohar. It's like a whole different energy. Just even before we even know what they're talking about, it doesn't matter. Just the words, the Aramaic, the story, it's carrying something, right? Or your soul just knows it's being spoken to. Pasach Rabbi Shimon V'Amar, Rabbi Shimon opened and said, Yale Rabbi Chia, let Rabbi Chia enter. V'lechame become the zamin kujabrichu lecharata anped tikai l'zimna da'asi. Let Rabbi Shimon, let Rabbi Chia, he said, let Rabbi Chia, who was visiting, right? Let Rabbi Chia in. You saw my message? Rabbi Chia in and to Gan Eden. Let him see the great lights that Hashem is going to light up the faces of the tzaddikim in the future. Because the same way that Rabbi Chia was lighting up new ideas in Torah, so he should see what Hashem gives for that to your face in Gan Eden. Zaka ihu man de al hacha below kisufa, v'zaka man de kaim bahu alma kamuda takif b'chola. V'chama de hava al v'hava kam Rabbi Elazar v'shar mudin de yasvin v'hava kasif ashmit karme. And so Taka, they lifted Rabbi Chia up into Gan Eden, and Rabbi Chia saw all the other tzaddikim standing up for him, and Rabbi Shimon even standing up for him. They're all giving Rabbi Chia honor, and Rabbi Chia was very embarrassed, and he was trying to hide himself. Valvi Asiva Goyd Rabbi Shimon, he went and he kind of snuggled up. Doesn't say those words, but snuggled up to the feet of Rabbi Shimon in heaven. Kalan Nafik Vamar Maichinach Lotiskov Reshach Lotistakel. A voice came out and said, "Don't, you're not yet really, like I guess, dead. So don't look at these lights that are happening in Gan Eden." So what you can do is like lower your vision and look at the light that's far away, but not the light, whatever that means. And then a voice came out, and this is what our shir is going to be about. This might be another 2-hour shir. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's taken us, what, like half an hour just to like, okay, I wasn't even, anyway, l'chai. A voice came out. A voice came out, and like a voice came out in Shemayim. Doesn't say who said it. And it said, Ilayin Tmirin Stimin, hidden great supernal angels. That's referring to the 7 angels that are called Einei Hashem, etc. Pekiche Eina, whose eyes are open, Inu de Meshatatim Chol Alma, as is described in the Navi Zechariah, Einei Hashem Meshatatot. Istaklu v'chamu, look and see. Tatayin de Michin Stimin b'chorechan, Itaru man minchon dichashoicha mehapchan lenehoira. And it said, you should awaken those who know how to change darkness into light. Who among you, it announces to all the souls that are there in Gan Eden, that know how to change darkness into light. V'ta'imin merir elamiska, and who know how to change bitterness into sweetness. Ad lo yeson hachi, who learned how to do that before they got here, meaning learned how to do that in their waking fleshly life, right? People who learned how to do that. Man min chodem mechakan v'chol yom nehara l'denahir, and who among you knew how to wait for that light each day to shine? B'shaita de malka pakid la'yalta, at that time when Hashem is remembering and connecting to his gazelle, which is called Ayelet Hashachar, the gazelle of the morning, of the dawn, the gazelle of the dawn. V'yisyakar v'yitkari malka m'kol malki nila de alma, and it is then that Hashem is really called Melech, Malchei HaMalachim, a king of all kings in the world. Mandela mitzapeta b'chol yom b'hahu alma leisleichu kahacha. One who has not learned to do that in the world has no place here, meaning you can still get to Gan Eden, but the mechitzas Rabbi Shimon, to be in Rabbi Shimon's place, you have to be someone who knows to turn darkness to light, to turn bitterness to sweetness, and be someone who was awaiting each day for Hashem to connect and remember his gazelle of the dawn, Ayelet HaShachar. Okay, I'm going to come back to this. Now we're going to jump into the Megillah, but we'll see. We're going to see a lot about this Zohar. Hi. So good. We're up to Perek Hey Pasuk Aleph.
In the Megillah?
In the Megillah. With Rabbi Shlomo Alkabetz.
You're starting Perek Hey.
Starting Perek Hey.
That's cool.
Yeah. Vayhi bayayim hashlishi v'tubas Esther malchus v'tamoid v'chatzar beis hamelech hapenimis noichach beis hamelech v'hamelech yoshev al kisei malchusoi bebeis hamalchus noichach pesach habayis. And it was on the third day, Esther dressed in malchus, kingly, royal, queenly garments, v'tamod v'chatzar beit hamelech, and she stood in the courtyard of the house of the king, hapnimit, the inner courtyard, nochach beis hamelech, right opposite the house of the king. V'hamelech, and the king was sitting on his throne, beveit hamalchut, in the palace of the king, in the royal palace, nochach petach habayit, right, right opposite the doorway of the. So they can kind of see each other. She sees him. He says, in simple meaning, everyone agrees that Vatilbash Esther Malchus means, hey, it's so good to see you. Wow, so amazing. So everyone agrees that she put on her queenly garments, right? Rashi says it, all the Bali Hapshat say it. And he brings from the Targum Sheni, that lists all of these wild. She was basically bedecked in jewels from like head to toe. She was wearing like the full on, I guess there's like levels of queenly garments that she would wear. V'ani Omer, says Rabbi Shlomo Alkabetz, the author of Lechadodi, whose commentary we're learning. Lefid varav noda heyot atata himo eset hamalchus bilti chafetz ba. That the king knew and everyone knew that for her to be queen was something she totally was disgusted with. She was like basically like a prisoner. She felt like a total prisoner, right? As we see, she never told anyone who she was, what nation she was from, and she refused the perfumes and the oils and so on. And we know that she wouldn't even eat the regular food. She was just eating, only kosher, which meant like vegan kind of a situation. Which is why we have a tradition on Purim to eat nuts. Yeah, it's a tradition to begin the Purim Seder with some nuts. Yeah, you have to go nuts. Yeah. Now that Mordechai tells her to go to the king, so now she put on those same clothes, but now she put them on actively, right? This was like probably maybe the first nafochu in the Megillah. It's like, sometimes maybe our clothes, even in our regular lives, feel like prisoners' clothes a little bit. But then sometimes we realize, maybe I can do something. Maybe I can change things. And then the way you put on that same sweater, different. You're putting it on actively. What used to feel like so you realize the resources that I do have can be used to make positive change, right? And really, she's bringing down the whole Purim. She's bringing down the whole Purim, putting on that dress, it was hard for her because these are things that but this is a nafochu. This is a real turnaround in consciousness, a major turnaround from victim mentality to heroine, with an E at the end, to full on like saving the universe, like Queen, like Esther, boom, bringing down Purim, mamish, for all generations, and for Mashiach forever and ever. It's the only holiday that we're going to keep. It's a holiday that is beyond the distinction between exile and redemption. Beyond that distinction, we're going to keep it even after. It's a holiday that is so beyond. And what she did was she became active. This is really the main nakuda that we're going to get to, which is that's what the Zohar is taught. What does it mean to turn darkness to light, to turn bitterness to sweet? and to be looking for that gazelle. The gazelle, and this is something that basically Rabbi Chaim Vital, the main student of Rabbi of the Heilige Arizal, said that in the end of the day, all of Kabbalah, all the teachings of Sod, everything, all of it, is just to inspire us enough to be active, to make an isarusa de lasata, to make an awakening from below. We are the elusive gazelle that Hashem is like wanting to connect to, that gazelle of the dawn. Where is she? You know, it's so magic, and you can't control it, you can't force it. And sometimes we have sometimes we have like friends who are in a very dark place, maybe an addicted place or a stuck place, or maybe they're in a toxic relationship, and everyone sees it and they know, and you can't tell them anything, and it's like, oh, they have to find it themselves. They have to know it themselves, right? You can't. It's one of the most frustrating things, especially with addicts. It's one of the most frustrating, painful things. It's like, how are they ever going to take this step? How are they ever going to? And it's the gazelle. It's the gazelle of the dawn. This amazing thing that is Ayelet HaShachar. Elusive, but the whole universe is worth it for that, right? When we actually put on our queenly robes, even if it's the same sweater I wore yesterday, but now I'm putting it on actively, now I'm putting it on to change the world, right? So that's what it means to be in the mechitza of Rabbi Shema, right? To be able to hear and learn the deepest secrets, which means to be able to be in a dynamic connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's something we keep coming back to. That in the Holy of Holies, what's going on? It's one piece of gold, but it's made into two kruvim, right? And there's a whole thing. Sometimes they're looking at each other, sometimes they're not. There's a whole dynamism going on within the oneness. So we're coming down to this world to learn how to have an awakening from below, how to bring that bracha, to heal ourselves, heal our relationships, to step out of our Egypt, and to turn the darkness itself into light. That's what she did. She wore the same queenly clothes, which for her were prison. But now she wore them and brought down Purim. The same clothes. That's the chashoicha l'nehayra. This is turning darkness into light, mamish. My life, with my situation, my health situation, my amount of money, my family, my this, my that. That same thing, the same thing. But a little ruach came in from the tzaddik. No, Mordechai said, "Miyodeim la'it kazoti gat malchut." This is it. What you can do, what you can build, what you can bring down for Am Yisrael, gewalt, right? Unbelievable, mamish. And this is with the same, right? The thing that is bitter, that's so bitter, it itself becomes. It's not you who knows how to get rid of the bitter and bring in the sweet, right? The lashon is man minchon di chashocha mehapchan lenahora v'tamin meriran lemidcha mehapchan to turn it into lahafoch it's mamish, literally push it Purim. It's like actually Purim to transform, to turn it around, right? Yes, transform. So that's what in Pshat, that's what she was doing, right? Vatilbash Esther Malchut. Before even talking yet about Ruach HaKodesh, which we're going to talk about now, because it doesn't say big day Malchut, it says Vatilbash Esther Malchut. No, not even any prefix. No b, right? Vatilbash Esther Malchut is that's what the Gemara says. It was Ruach HaKodesh, and we're going to learn about this. But that Ruach HaKodesh is deeply connected to the simple meaning of the verse. And she put on the queenly clothes, but for real, on purpose, with a sense of purpose, with a sense of agency. I can do something with awakening from below. This is the gazelle of the dawn. This is Ayelet HaShachar, which the Gemara says in Yom HaChavtes. That's Esther. Ayelet HaShachar, right? Tehillim 22. Ayelet HaShachar. And it's you and me too. Hashem. It's you and me. We're all the Ayelet HaShachar. Our souls are down here. That's the whole thing. In heaven, it's all Gewalt, but it's boring. Want some action? Come down here. It's amazing. Ashrenu. That this is the thing. This is our whole badge of honor, Like, this is the shtreimel, the shtreimel is like, it's a crown made out of a non-kosher animal, our animalistic crown. We're here, we're down here, we're dealing with down here, Gewalt, This is more than what any angel could know. And so to come into the mechitza of Rabbi Shimon, the real deepest secrets is the secrets of real relating. Otherwise, everything's just kind of bland and static and just, heavenly in the antiseptic sense, in the perfect sense. The real geschmacka part of heaven is where there's imperfections, where there's ups and downs, all the secrets of what it means, the deepest depths of relating, of this kruvim and the holy of holies. Yes, it's one piece of gold. Avada, it's not that it's two and like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm connected. You're in. It's almost like marriage. We're so deeply in that we can fight. Right? It's a oneness, 1,000% a oneness, infinitely oneness. And that's the paradox. That's what we came down here for. Our souls there's mamish. This is, and it's so hard. And we need Mordechai. We need Mordechai. We learned a few weeks ago. I don't remember when. Mordechai is the letters Darkei Mem, the ways of Mem. Mem is process. 40 years, 40 days. Mem is a very motherly number also, even though it's Mordechai, but it's most languages mother is with a M sound, from what I understand. Most cultures in the world. There's what's that?
Also in the desert.
Right?
40.
Yeah, exactly. 40 years, 40 days on Sinai. Exactly. The process. And the tzaddik, a true tzaddik, helps you embrace your process and not to be stuck, right? To get back in there, right? Rocky's coach, get back in there, right? There's some new Czechoslovakian 8 foot tall guy, but Rocky, you got this, pours water in your head and pushes you back in. Right? And she gets this strength. It's incredible. She gets this strength. So he says, Shlomo Alkabat says, it should have said Bigdei Malchus of Elazar. She was garbed and enclothed with Holy Spirit. Ruach HaKodesh. And he says that he asks on this that it says that what does the Gemara say? Levashta Ruach HaKodesh. Not that she clothed herself with it, but she was enclothed by the Ruach HaKodesh. And he explains, Minirali, says Shlomo Alkabat, it seems to me, the author of Lecha Doidi, who, the man who wrote Lecha Doidi, this is a person who's tuned in to song and relating and love and, Lecha Doidi, Likrat Kala Gewalt. So he says, Nira Lisa Rabbi Elazar Dikdek. Rabbi Elazar was teaching this. She was trying to get to Ruach HaKodesh. She was trying already from the first day. What does it say? On the third day. He says she was davening and trying to connect to Ruach HaKodesh the whole time. But the pasuk begins, Asher lama yachso akaz lema shlishi lechensi v'bil lazar davar ruach hakodesh ki Esther mishar rishona kivnan lislabish. From the beginning, she was meaning to enclothe herself with this. Vaf kamzot at but she had to daven, and it didn't come. Ki chen darko isbarachim tzadikim. This is the way Hashem is with the tzadikim. You know, the more expensive the restaurant, the longer the wait, right? The Levi Yitzchak B'ditchever says, why don't we make Shechianu on the first day of Sfira? You saw this once? It's an amazing B'ditchever. It's in Kiddush Slaves. Why don't we say Shechianu? It's the first, like the first, every day we're going to do the same mitzvah. The first, like the first night of Hanukkah. He says, because nobody's excited for Sfira. It says, what we're excited for is Shavuos. And like, okay, we have to do Sfira. We have to do it. We have to go through, this long time of counting and becoming more aware, stretching ourselves, being aware of deeper parts of ourselves, more character traits, etc. Fine, but it's nothing you make a shechianu on, even though it's so good for you, but it's still, right? So that's how it is. So it took even Esther, Hamalka, 3 days till the Ruach HaKodesh came, right? She ordered Ruach HaKodesh. It took wait 3 days. Kedamran b'Gemara, Amar Yitzchak, Ne'mavasinu Purim. Why were the avos? Why weren't they having children? All of them were barren. Kadosh Baruch Hu mis'avel l'tfilasim shel tzadikim. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants the tzadikim to daven. And so too here. He says even more. He says, "Who yoter nachon." He says another. This Pshadi said the first one was his own idea. Now he says, and another one that's probably even more correct was she wasn't even trying. She wasn't even thinking that she would get Ruach HaKodesh. It wasn't even a thought. She was just davening and hoping that her plan would work and she'd be able to find chen in the eyes of Achashverosh and bring some and save the Jews from genocide. Because of her great humility, it didn't even enter her mind that maybe lo alta liba shetihi Ruach HaKodesh shoira alea, the Ruach HaKodesh would come and clothe her. Ulevasra ki kvar ratza lo kimaseya, and in order to encourage her that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy with her davening and her planning, and that she should be confident and sure that her tefillahs were heard, levash the Ruach HaKodesh. So she got this unexpected lift at the end, right before she goes in. And since it was because of her deed, so therefore the pasuk, right in the Gemara, it says that the Ruach enclothed her, but the pasuk says vatil bash ester malchut, which is that she put it on, right? So the Gemara is saying it happened to her, but the pasuk says she did it because it happened to her thanks to all of her davening that she did before. Wow. Chaim. Furthermore, Bata'amod. Why doesn't he ask? This is like an off the charts understanding of the Megillah. It says, the pasuk says, "Vahiba b'shishiva tilbash ester malchut, bata'amod b'chatzar beit hamelech," and she stood in the chatzar hamelech. What was the previous pasuk right before that? Was that what we did last week? The Mordechai did everything that the Chol Shetzivta alav Esther. We did everything she commanded. But we never have a pasuk describing her actually entering in. It just says, "Vahiba b'shlishi v'tubash ester malchut v'ta'amod." She's standing there. What happened? How did she get there? Right? Kol dibei Mordechai elea lavo el hamelech v'ikam hi amra uvchein avo el hamelech. I will come into the king. And now, how come suddenly you don't see any entering? Doesn't mention any entering. Rak batil bash Esther malch v'tamod. Kilu sham nimsa, as if she had been there all the time. Or shenafla min hashamayim sham. Maybe she fell down out of heaven, just fell down into that. It's very funny that he says that. Umina ra'ui should have said that she put on the malchus and went in, right? But it doesn't say that. Batil bash malch v'tamod. Uve'enei chazal. So he says this maybe is what Chazal were dealing with Kama nischabtu b'tevas v'tamod. They were bothered by this word that says that she stood. Well, she wasn't walking first, like it did. We're missing the beginning. And therefore, Chidesh Rabbi Levi, Bir Niflas, Rabbi Levi in the Gemara came and said, Vatamod. And what does he say that it happened is when she walked, when she was there, in the king's courtyard, there were a bunch of idols, all kinds of things, totem poles and stuff, etc. Right? And he says the Ruach HaKodesh left her. Even though she had a Ruach HaKodesh, but it says Vatamod. So he says, what's the Talmud? Lo al Esther nem Rasha amdasham. Talmud is not going on Esther, says Rabbi Shlomo Malkovitz. Sheim kein yi polasafek hanemara l'tevat Talmud v'sevet al malchus v'tulbash Esther malchus v'tevas v'Talmud is like v'Talmud miledet v'yamod Hashem and imdu lanu od asher inyanam hahefsek v'habitul. After it told us that she put on Ruach HaKodesh, Midas HaMalchus, Karanaus HaShchina, or Ruach HaKodesh, call it what you will, Shchina, divine presence, or Ruach HaKodesh, Ki HaKolu Emes, it's all true, in Kain Bir Vatamodus, and Nifsaka Milavo Od Ima, that the Ruach HaKodesh stopped. Vatamon merachok b'val lachatzer pnimit asher sham hatzlamim bli safek. Right? Because the Gemara says, and Bilevi kevan shegiel lebeit hatzlamim nistag men shchina. And then she cried out, Keli, Keli, lama zavtani. All of this is from Tehillim 22, which is Lam Netzeach ala yelet hashachar. All the whole Tehillim 22 is about that, about this gazelle of the dawn, which is us. And honest kiratzon. Okay. So he brings a bunch of different things here.
This sounds like.
And she cried out.
Like her, what it sounds this moment is like her making an empowering moment out of an otherwise disempowering moment. It's like she's like basically there to like almost like perform in this role, and then it's like a singer, and then like their PA system cuts out, or like the whole band, like the whole speaker system, and it's just like they're just there. Yes. They're just standing there in an otherwise like disempowered position.
Yes.
But now it's like then
just to dig even deeper, right? So she
steps into that power bereft of the Ruach HaKodesh that was like her signal.
Yes. Yes. So this whole story of her approaching the king is so profound. So she cries out, Keli, Keli lama zavtani, my God, why are you abandoning me? Right? At this point, the Gemara says. And he says,
she was surrounded by idols.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And she thought that maybe the Shekhinah will come with her even into that place. Because we have a pasuk in last week's parsha. It said, Hashocheni tam betoch tumotam. That Hashem is with us even in our tumah. Even when we're in a place of impurity, Hashem's Shekhinah stays with us. So she thought it would stay. Oh. Keli Keva Mazaftani. And she made a whole argument, he says. Right? I need a sitter with Tillim, or just a Tillim. Yeah, any minute, yeah. So the verses, I mean, he goes through all the verses. We can't do everything. He's so amazingly, delightfully, and wordy. Lechadoidi is incredibly brief. It's like it's very precise, and and in his perush he mamish like talks and maybe this and what about that, and it's like pages and pages. He literally has like I think 7 or 8 pages just on this one verse that we're learning. And it says, so the pasuk is Keli lama zavtani rachak mishuasi dive sha'agasi. Why so far from saving me from the words of my roar? Elokai ekra yomam v'lotan, I call it by day, you answer not. V'layla v'dumi li ve'ata kadosh shevti al Yisrael. So he says that was her first argument, was imitzad from gedulas Hashem, for the sake of your greatness, stay with me, right? B'chabat chavotenu, and because of our forefathers who have put their trust in you, right? The pasuk, the next pasuk, B'cha batcha b'teinu, batchu v'tefaltemo. They put their bitachon in you. V'anochi tolad v'lish alecha shlach miracha v'ime otzem hatzara, or because of the depth of the pain that we're in and trouble. Al tichak mimeni, don't distance yourself from me. V'im la'otzem simchat ha'oyev, and don't let the enemies rejoice over genocide of Am Yisrael, chas v'shalom. Al tichak mimeni rabim patzu alai piem, they're opening their mouths. Yavesh kecheres kochi, my strength has become dry like earthenware. I'd like to say how much she's subduing herself and all of Am Yisrael davening. Im l'rov hachnata yavesh kecheres kochi kisabuni kolavim v'ata Hashem al tichak hatzil mecherev nafshi miyad kelev yechidati. And the Gemara says that's like way towards the end, or is it not so far towards the end? Al tichak imeni svavuni kamaim nishpachti. Save me from my yechida, which is a word for the soul, from this miyad kelev, from this dog. And then she remembered that Am Yisrael, even in Mitzrayim and Moshe Rabbeinu, they had to give honor to Paro because he was a king. She said, well, maybe it wasn't right that I called Achashverosh a dog. And so she changed it and called it a lion, right? Hosheni mipi aryeh, save me from the mouth of a lion. Right? And then the Gemara says, after this davening, the Ruach HaKodesh did come back to her. Chaim. Then he says, he brings another medrash, a medrash from the Tehillim. Yeah, medrash Tehillim. Let me just find it. Oh, right, it's a medrash from Dvarim Rabbah. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost in all this, the length of this thing. Yeah, it's in Shmos Rabbah. Almul Pnei HaMenorah. Right, we have this mitzvah. Oh no, it's Bamidbar Rabbah. Tes Vavoy Zayin. This is where it is. When we have this mitzvah of lighting the menorah, and the Medrash says, "Basar v'dam madlik ner miner daluk." We, in order to make light, we need a spark. We need some light. Can we make light out of the darkness? Right. This is again getting back to the Zohar, right? Hashem, at the beginning of time, right? The world was complete dark. Pasuk Bet, Perek Aleph Pasuk Bet is such an amazing pasuk, right? No one would ever notice. If it would have just said Barashis Bar Elokim Zashamayim V'Ta'aretz, and it would say Vayom Elokim Yehior, Yehior, it would sound good, right? V'Haaretz Hayta Tohu V'Vohu. Such an unbelievable verse. Verse 2 of the Bible. It's incredible. It's very affirming. Darkness on the face of the deep. What does that even mean? And yet there's this sense of potential hovering over the waters. It's like, wow, it's like totally incredible. And then it says, so Hashem is making this light where there was no previous light at all. It was just darkness. Choshech al pnei tehom, the Medrash says. Maktiv acharav v'melkim ye'or. Right after that, says, Hashem said, let there be light. From within the dark, I brought out light. So the initial thing that Hashem did, which is sort of, which is the first cry out for hoping for the gazelle of the dawn to answer, which is us, that we can also turn dark into light, right? So when I told you to light the menorah, right? I'm not telling you this because I need the light. This is a very, very deep thing. Very, very deep thing. It's also true in terms of relationships. What is the right kind of neediness in a relationship? Very deep thing, right? If I can't be regulated, if I there's a codependent, there's a danger of I need, I don't need my spouse in order to be at peace being myself. What I need my spouse for is to build a home. That I can't do by myself. Can't. A home is something else, right? There it's really true. I need. I can't do it. I'm a single guy, single girl, you don't have a bite. It's not a bite. A bite is something you make together, right? You hear that? The relationship itself is a third thing. It's a shlishi beineim. It's a concept of godliness. It's an infiniteness, right? And that we really are needy. You, as a single person, you can't do it. A bite, right? Very, very deep. So Kadosh Baruch Hu is saying, I told you to light a menorah. Don't think I need that light. Very deep thing that's saying over there. Don't think I need that light. Very, very deep. Very, very deep. What is the concept of tzorech gavoa, right? I don't need it, but for us to have a home together, I need it, right? Very, very deep, very subtle nikuda. The menorah has to be there, right? Shem's fine without our Shabbos candles. Just what? He won't have a home with us. He won't be able to dwell, right? So he doesn't need it. He needs it, right? Doesn't need it in the sense that's what sometimes, unfortunately, power energies get given over by teachers and organized religion in various ways. Kilu Hashem. If you don't do it, Hashem's going to Kilu. Hashem needs in an unhealthy way. And if you mess up, and then we're running on this treadmill, and we can never be perfect enough to make the perfect divine God satisfied with what we do. And it's okay. Hashem is good. He's good. He knows how to turn darkness into light on his own. Right? What he needs is our little light. Someone said it's like a billionaire who has Picassos on their wall. Gewalt, Hashem has all the constellations. What does our Hanukkah lights do? That's the kid who comes home from Gan and made a picture. It's worth more, hopefully worth more, to the parents than all their Picassos. Mamish. Not because it's fancy and perfect. In the imperfection, Davka. Because you did something. Because the gazelle of the dawn, you did something. Anything. Even if it's teensy weensy. Anything. Like Rabbi Nachman said, you go to these brothers and you just can't talk today, but you showed up. Right? Even if it was for 30 seconds, and then you're just too upset to even stay for longer. But you did. Hashem is like, did you see my way? But she showed up for 30 seconds. It's real, and we don't want to. We're too stuck in the neediness, unhealthy, to realize that our imperfect efforts do something else. It's bias. It's a different thing. It's a connected energy that needs our awakening from below. And it doesn't matter how small that is. It's unbelievably precious. Right? You hearing this? It's a Gewalt time. So Hashem saying, I'm telling you because I want to lift you up. I want you to bring this light. למי שקופץ כהיל ומאיר מתוך החושך, שהחושך איננו נזכר בכתוב, אבל מאיר מתוך החושך, החושך הוא השחר נאמר. למי שקופץ כהיל ומאיר לעולם מתוך החושך. ולא אמר בשעס חשיכה, right? That מתוך החושך. That when it says shachar, like the ayelet ha-shachar, what is shachar? It comes boker, right? And what is shachar? Shachar and boker, tevot nirdafot, they're synonyms. Shachar, boker. Aval tevat shachar miloshon shacharut. Shachar comes in the word black. Umibli mesim shum emtei me'ir et ha'or mitoch ha'choshech. The ayelet ha'shachar, davka, not ayelet ha'boker. Ayelet ha'shachar. Ayelet ha'shachar davka starts from blackness. This is something we were learning. And I heard this from my friend Reb Judah Klein, Mahelika Charusa, that when Reb Nassan in Likutei Halachos says that every morning when we wake up, right, there's a, what does it say? Is gaver ka'ari, ein hashachar me'iro, tell who me'ir, hashachar, shachar. This is the beginning, first line of Shulchan Aruch. You have to light up the shachar. Light up the turn, meaning lahafoch et hashachar, et hashachor, la'or, to turn the darkness into light, to seize the day, as they say. Laha'ir, not seize, turn the dark into light, transform, purimize it, to nafoch, lahafoch, that's a lashon of the Zohar, of the angel in heaven. You want to be by Rabbi Shimon, you have to be someone who knows how to turn dark into light. Lahafoch, chaim. So, and thus it says, laha'ir et hashachar means that every time, he says an incredible thing. What, in Bresav, the most, like probably top two, definitely important things Rabbi Nachman taught us how to live is Nakuda Tova. Find your good points, right? Now, Rabbi Nassim says, and when you're thinking of yourself negatively and you're not seeing the good points, that's called you're asleep. It's called you're sleeping. Called you're sleeping. Most people think exactly the opposite. I'll wake up to realize how empty I am, how no good I am, how far I am, right? And Nassim says, no. That's called you're sleeping. When you can only see negative about yourself, that's called you're asleep. To wake up in the morning means, it's the first halacha, aleph in Likutei Halachos. The first thing he says, to wake up in the morning means to see and experience, taste, connect to, believe in your own goodness. That's what it means to wake up. There is goodness here. It's our generation's biggest struggle. I'm sitting here talking about it and I'm smiling and everything and I'm still working on it. We're all working on it. It's okay. We're all working on it. It's a big avoda, but it's the siman of finding a Nakuda Tova is that it looks black. Because what are your Nakuda Tova? Is things that you are already doing. What do we think Nakuda Tova has to be? A bombastic thing. I'll create a center in Tel Aviv and the car of the whole world, whatever it is. The Nakuda Tova is that I'm telling you, this is a true story that I've been telling about myself lately. You're allowed to share your successes. This was maybe 4 weeks ago now. Shabbos morning. I woke in the morning and I put on my kippah and I felt real joy that I'm wearing a kippah today. That to me is like months of spiritual work to get to that point. Because we don't appreciate it, this kippah is actually black, but we think of the things that we do that really are good. We don't even see them. They look black to us. They don't seem important. Rabbi Nissen David Kivek says, every day, most men, they walk out of shul and throw their tefillin in the garbage. meaning, spiritually speaking, you have a reason to be happy all day. You put on tefillin today. Yeah. And we're just like, you know, and fill in with whatever else in your life. We're so easy to poo-poo, tarti mashma, all the good things that we do, to just consider them nothing, right? And Rabbi Nachman actually says in Torah Yud, and something I've been working on also lately, thank God, and this is something I've actually experienced in my body. Dance, 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 dance. It is so good to dance and dance about something good that you did. My friend danced for a full half hour because he has payas. He actually danced for 30 minutes about having payas. I was so jealous of him. We're talking about waking up. We already are so close to Hashem. We're just in these imaginary worlds that we build, or maybe these imaginary outhouses that we just live in. Hashem is right here, and you are doing so much good. And you can actually dance about it. I'm telling you. It doesn't have to do with other people. You can dance alone. It's so good. It is incredibly, incredibly good. Your body will thank you. Even one little 360 on the way to shul could change your whole day. Or to whatever you're doing, just realizing, hey, I'm zocher to walk in Yerushalayim. I'm going to do whatever, chesed, davening, honest job, masa umata, and nasata v'asata be'emunah is the first thing they're going to ask you in heaven is, were you honest in your business dealings? I'm so happy I'm able to be there. What's that?
Count your change.
Count your change, yeah. Just being able to be real, it's worth a dance. It actually is worth a dance. It seems silly, but it's actually silly not to. It's an incredible thing. And Rabbi Nachman says even it's mamtik dinim, it could change the war, literally. It could change, we don't know. We don't know what our deeds do, how our souls are connected to the great network of causalities in the universe. We don't know. A dance is so precious. It's the gazelle. She's like, there's my gazelle. She's been hiding from me, but I see her. She's prancing. She's frolicking. Gewalt, really. So, Ayelet HaShachar, the Shachar, the Shachor, the Nekuda Tova the sign that it's a real Nekuda Tova is that you've been not giving it any attention at all because it's so easy, right? How could it be worth accomplishment? Has to be something I can't do. It's so funny. We've wired ourselves to impossible, but there are all these things that we do. We wear kippas, we bake brachas, we dress tzandua, we whatever. Simple thing. We say Modeh in the morning. That's it. It's a reason to dance. Mamish actually reason to dance. And we don't only find that out after 120 and realize that in heaven it's boring and they've just been eyes glued to the screen watching what's going on here. You're like, oh man, I was there and I didn't dance. Like, we're here now. It's like, this is it. We're mamish center stage, Shalayim Yerakoides. So this is the thing, right? This Hashem is doing every day, turning dark into light. The Zohar says it's very good for your soul to be up really early and watch the sky turn from dark to light. It's very good for your soul because it's re-experiencing the beginning of when Hashem first made light out of the darkness, and it will empower you, it will strengthen you to find your own gazelle. We're all running after our own gazelles also. Like, where's the real levush? It's real though, really. It's love pashut. It's very elusive, that gazelle. Umitoch dvarim halalu banu le'inyan Esther. Ki bachra lavo az lazkir ki kamoshe hu yisbarach be'esa. He meir es ha'olam mitoch ha'choshech, just as Hashem is lighting up the world from within darkness, and that is the nafoichu of Purim. So will He light up all of Am Yisrael from the darkness that they're in. And then he says something that reminded me of Rav Shalom. This is so amazing. He says, because the psukim keep going, right? And the psukim in this Tehillim 22, Svavuni klavim adas mer mikifuni karil. They're surrounding me like dogs, and they're all trying to get me, and da. The Gemara says, like, as she was walking to the king, the different viziers and courtiers and whatever people they were all saying, they were casting lots, saying, I'm going to get her anklets. I'm going to get her crown. I'm going to take this part of it because he had wearing all the expenses. They all thought she was going to, intense. They're all surrounding. Can you imagine? She's like walking, trying to keep her majesty, gewalt, And then it says, Asaper kol atzmotai. So the Pashat Pshat, the translation is, I can count all my bones. Hey, me'abitu yiruvi. And they are looking and gloating over me, all these servants of the king, all the paparazzi. Yechaltu v'gadai lehem alvushi bilu goral. That's the next book. So he says, Asaper kol atzmotai. Says, Eno rachok. It's not a far thing to say that asaper is lashon behirut v'sapiriyut. Asaper, sfira ta'omer, right? Asaper kol atzmotai, my bones, I will cause them to shine. She's walking through these, like, imagine she's walking through these people, and she's like, just like bone shine. Such an unbelievable Shlomo. That's such a cool thing to say. And the Zohar learns that way when in Teruma Kuf Lamed Vav Amid Hashemayim Misaprim Kavod Kel. It's not just the heavens tell the honor of Hashem, but that heavens shine with sapir, Sfirat Omer. We're trying to make our midos shine little by little. And then he brings from the Targum Sheni a whole huge long thing of what was Esther's tefillah, what were the words that she said. I just want to mention a couple of things that it mentions here, and we've touched on this theme before from the Midrash Rabbah, but here it has it in this way. She says, first of all, Ata Ha'el Hagadol Elohei Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov ve'Elohei Binyamin Avi, which is cool because she's from Shevet Binyamin. Elohei Binyamin Avi. Well, sounds so good, right? And then she says, I'm coming to you on behalf of all Am Yisrael. Al Amcha Yisrael shel Aveinu Minam. Ki bavur Yisrael barat olam kol. He created the world for Am Yisrael. Shim Yisrael Aveinu Min Olam. If there's no Am Yisrael in the world, mi yomar lefanecha kadosh 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 bechol yom shos ba'amim. If we won't be here, who's going to say kadosh 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 for you? That's the first thing she says. Her first argument. Who's going to say kadosh 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 for you? It blew my mind because the argument is exactly about the dynamic relationship piece, that's what we're bringing to the world. That's what we're teaching the world, that they also, that the whole world can be relating to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that it's so good to be here. Right? The Ishbitzer, the Beis Yaakov Mamish says that the 70 Sarim, there are 70 top angels that represent the UN. They represent all the nations in the world, and they all are against the world. They all want just everything should just stay heavenly, right? And that's why oftentimes, they don't have this idea of revival of the dead like they have, like nirvana, heaven. Let's just get out of here. Let's be done already. And we are like, no, let's get back here.
We're holding it down. We're trying to hold it down.
Yeah, that's what he says. That Am Yisrael's job is to convince, and all the angels behind all the nations, to say yes to life, to be okay with life, to say yes to creation, and not stop saying Ma enosh kitis karenu. Well, who is this human being that you should even care about? And to say no, it's so precious. Look at this picture I brought home from God. Isn't it all worth it? I made this picture, this little gazelle that's doing something, showing up for 30 seconds to relate back to Hashem. Is it worth it? It's so worth it. And that's what she says. You're really going to let us go? Who's going to say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh for you? It's such an unbelievable line. You know, when Reb Chaim Kanievsky Zatzal's wife, Rebbetzin Kanievsky, who was this amazing tzaddikus, when she passed away, so his I think it was his son-in-law that was Rav Yashiv. Well, no, Rav Yashiv was his daughter was the daughter of
she was a daughter.
She was Rav Yashiv was his father, right? Exactly. So it was maybe the one the famous Zilberstein. He's the son-in-law, right?
Sugar with the time.
He's figured. So who's the son?
No, he was also a son-in-law.
Oh, so maybe that's what it is, right? So maybe that's what it is, because he was also son-in-law. I forgot who it was. Some other Chashuv Rav in the family came in, and he said, "Vatakam be'od laila v'titin terev lebesav l'neseah." She would wake up in the middle of the night, and he said, "Who's now making your tea?" And he started bawling. Reb Chaim just burst because he would wake up at 2 a.m. to learn. She would wake up at 1:30 and make a tea, right? And he just was bawling, like so. You know, this is the first thing he says. Who's gonna say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh to you, Hashem? So beyond, so beyond. And she says another thing similarly later on. Im nichle miye modeh lefanecha. If we won't be here, who's gonna say modeh ani? Who's gonna say thank you to you? Who's gonna notice you? Right? Wow. Okay. So, just to sum up, if it's possible to sum up, is Rabbi Nachman says Torah Chet in Likutei Moharan. Hine yakar genuchi v'noa me'ish Yisrael. Behold, how precious is a sigh. Deep breath. Little krechts of a ish Israeli, of a Jewish person. Kihu shleimus hachesronos, because this is the completeness of lackings. The completeness of lackings. Ruach Chaim. There's a breath of life. We were created by a breath of life. And when we're really breathing, we're really alive. And it's very interesting. He quotes the Chachamim here, which is unclear exactly who he's quoting. Im techser hanashima techser hachaim. If there's a lacking in breath, there's a lacking in life. Nachman is so amazing. And then the Rebbe who talks about breath. She was incredible, totally incredible. It's not the only Torah, it's a bunch of Torahs that are very different, all kinds of ways. And the way I understand it is that we're here and we look around in the world and it's hard to catch your breath. There's so much to do. There's so much pain. There's competition. There's all these things that cause shortness of breath, that cause us to feel. I heard this new thing. It's reached the Gen Z Lashinus, the big exhale. Yeah, you heard this before? The BE. You heard this? Big exhale? I don't know. Apparently, it's people talk about this. How you doing? Big exhale. It's like a sign of doing really well. Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm trying all this. I have a friend who's a little maybe too on top of these things, but in any case. Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing, right? So So this is this. What is this about? This big exhale is that exactly what we're learning about. Not a neediness on Hashem's part that you better get things right or else, like, and as if like it all depends on everyone and has to be perfect and all these unreachable, impossible, impersonal goals. We have to look deeply into the blackness of the things that we're already doing. Have to not be. Don't be a stranger to your own goodness. It looks black. At first, that's how it will look. It's going to look black. The same way that the night just before dawn looks so dark, right? But none of that matters. None of that counts. Well, wait a second. Get out of the quantifying and comparing. That's Hitler, Yemachim, we turn this into numbers. Don't quantify your humanity and compare it to other people. Don't do that. You're precious. You're the gazelle. You're the Ayelis Hashachar. There's no one like you. There's a jazz song I used to play when I was a teenager. There will never be another you. You hear this? It's in the fake book. No, there will never be another you. There's just a little crooning in the middle. Oh, there will never be another you. No, there will never be another. There will never be. I'm not getting to sing it, so we could do better in the saxophone. There will never be another you. Yeah.
Is the blackness that was sorry.
Yeah.
Blackness that we're talking about only like the type of like I'm this, I'm that, I can't believe I did that, or is it
No, it's the good. It's literally the good. I've been dressing sneakers for 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, but you said
That doesn't mean anything to me. To me, it looks black. No, meaning the good itself doesn't. When's the last time we cracked a smile about dressing sneakers for 10 years? Or making brachas, you know? We worship a Judaism that says you are allowed 5 minutes of simcha if, you know, you spent an extra $200 on Shabbos and you're proud of your table. But okay, enough already. Now go back to being sad, you know? we're very, if Kivak says we're all like davuk to Amalek like crazy, you know, we're very, you know, like mitzvah gedola lios be'atzvos. So we think that's the religion, you know, like we're really, you know, we're missing. We need to lower the bar and dance. Yeah.
Lowering the bar is also like, let's just acknowledge and get honest about where the system, so to speak, brings darkness into our lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Bringing light. Like,
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a dark experience, but there still is like a lot of darkness in the systemization or institutionalization of what should be a personal experience with God, really. You know,
1,000%.
It really does bring darkness. Like there's some seriously dark stuff in our religion.
Because the leadership, because the leadership is needy in an unhealthy way. That's what's going on.
Also, sometimes when you're climbing up a mountain, sometimes you need to look back and see how far you've come, because you feel like it's a never-ending mountain.
Right.
So when you stop and you turn that and you look, you're like, oh wow, I really did. I did a lot. Like, it's being able to be proud of yourself.
Completely true. By the way, incredible quirk. In every single Gemara, there's on the Sharblat, there's like this picture of this gate with like little palm trees and 2 columns. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The beginning of every Gemara, you have this, and there's these 2 lions on top. Rabbi Wagensberg showed me this once years ago. That the 2 lions are slightly different. Look carefully. One is, if you look really carefully, they really are. One is a little bit frowning, and one is a little bit smiling. Hey, right there. You can see it.
It's be like the
like the Kruvim, yes, but he says the smiling one is looking at what you already learned, right? Being besimcha, but it's exactly like you said. And the other one is like, okay, there's more, but I'll go for it. But you see how they're slightly different? It's not. You could see, yeah.
Oh yeah, the left one's.
Which
Yeah.
one? Which one's frowning?
The left one is frowning.
Yeah.
It's gonna become a whole thing. Which one's?
Say that.
I think it's not-
Anyways, it's just a quirky random thing.
It's like, which one? Which one do you
What?
think is swinging?
Way of throwing
Yanni?
like,
How do you change? That is a deep question. Yeah.
But I think it's
First, you
interesting.
gotta be aware that you.
First thing is to be aware.
It looked like
100%.
very Jewish looking
Once you have that.
like two ugly Jewish. It's like the darkness. It's
We'll look at them in so long. Yeah.
you like. It feels like there's two definitions of darkness because there's darkness like the opposite of light. There's also darkness that's just like the absence of light. It's like it's indistinguishable. It's like you look at a shadow and you can't see detail. It doesn't mean that there isn't detail. You just can't perceive it.
Beautiful. The darkness of the Shachar that we're talking about is your goodness that you can't see yet because you're exactly. You just can't make it out in the flashlight, notice it, like exactly. And so it's a major thing. Ayelet Hashach, the Nekuda Tova, right? So the breath that we're talking about over here is the shleimus of the chisaron. Does not mean that you feel there's no more chisaron. It's that you realize that the lacking that you have is shalem, meaning to say that the imperfectness, that the humanity, the beauty of the human being, the yofi of the gazelle, of the ayeles shachar, of the gazelle of the dawn, the yofi of our efforts, however tiny, the tiniest of the tiny, so tiny that I can't, like our minds cannot. This is something that Rav Nassim speaks about in Mincha Zayin, in the Likutei Halachos, deep in Mincha Zayin. I don't remember which paragraph, but deep in Mincha Zayin, he speaks about this. He says, what this is talking about, another way to speak about this is, remember Abraham had the covenant of the pieces? Remember Hashem did this weird thing, had him cut these animals in half and walk through? And then there was this column of right? It's totally far out. And then at the end, there was a tzipor, a bird which did not get cut, and then so the Midrash Rabbah on this, there's a lot to say about it, and I'm not mamish explaining it because it's deepest of the deep. But the Midrash Rabbah says that Hashem was teaching Abraham all the secrets of the korbanos, all the depths of what the Beis Hamikdash is, and how it's going to be able to reveal the unity of Hashem through all the levels of the differentiations of creation, and the oneness of Hashem will be able to be revealed in the world, and how that's connected to our efforts and the things that we do, right? But it says that the flower offering was not part of it at all. The mincha, right? The omer that we're counting from, right, was a barley offering, was a mincha. It was a grain offering. The grain offering that Hashem did not teach Abraham about. And so he says, what is the grain offering about? The grain offering, the Midrash Rabbah says that he didn't teach him anything, and that even Abraham prophetically couldn't be taught about it, because Rav Nassan in Mincha Zayin, deep in Mincha Zayin, I forgot which ois, like mem something or nun something, maybe later, he says that the fancier kinds of avodas Hashem, there are words, you can talk about it, but the deepest depths of what avodas Hashem is, there's no words. Even prophecy direct from Hashem can't. It's something that we have to discover on our own, which is what? Sack of flour. You show up to the Beis Hamikdash, bedale dalus, right? My name is Daniel Leib. It's Dal. You show up to the Beis Hamikdash. Couldn't bring an animal, couldn't even afford a bird, but sack of flour. You know? The gift of the impoverished individual. The gift of the impoverished individual is the chisaron, learning that it's shalem. That me, in my impoverishment, that all I could do is show up for 30 seconds and I can't do any more because I'm too traumatized by the idea of davening. So all I could do is show up for 30 seconds and say, and that's it, leave me alone, you know? Even that, to believe that, to dance about that, to believe that, to breathe into that, the genuchi v'noah, this deep, to breathe in to that and believe in it can give you your whole life back. It's that's what he's talking about here. That's what he's talking about here. Shleimus hachisronos means to realize there's a completeness. Rav Shlomo never translated shleimus as perfection, complete. Such a different word than perfect, right? So different, right? The child's picture is not perfect, but it's complete, right? Yeah.
My question is still is the needing to turn the blackness of like, okay, wow, I put on tzitzis today. Or your example, I've been seeing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
That implies that there's like, oh man, like I'm not holy. Or that there's something about your midot, about who you are. What if your darkness is about like your life circumstances, not about what I did, I'm not good enough, I can't daven, but rather I can't believe that, like, God forbid that my friend is chas v'shalom sick, or that I'm fighting with my brother, chas v'shalom,
whatever it is. Yeah.
So does what we've just discussed also apply?
I think so, Mamish. That's the story, right? What did Mordechai say? Mi yodea im la'et kazot. Like maybe you are actually just in the right place at the right time, right? What can you do with your current resources? That's a big turnaround, right?
Yeah.
Right? She put on the queenly clothes, right? And
it's like she didn't even see it about her own. It's like she's been living in this palace for years, and she was so stuck in the victimhood of it, the victim mentality of it. She wasn't even necessarily in touch or privy to that as a resource for changing the narrative.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's not that the chisaron goes away, but that the chisaron has a completeness to it.
Yeah.
That there's something here that is more special than everything they have in heaven. It's boring up there. And we've got this is something here that is incredible. What I can do here within my little nothing of a nothing, but wow, what it does is yeah. Okay, good questions, thoughts?
It does, like life here, it does feel like a prison is hella.
Yeah.
Kol aleph.
I was thinking about when you sing about shlemus, right? Yeah. Like the idea of like it's whole, right? So if a matzah is whole, but it's misshapen because it's shmur matzah,
right?
It's whole, but it doesn't mean it's perfect.
Doesn't mean exactly. Matzah's never right. Beautiful.
The bit about it said in there, I forget where it said like you should wake up and see the sunrise.
Yeah.
This is years ago, I was living in India for a long time. I remember this Ayurvedic doctor who I said, doctor, like I just want to give me a diagnostic
practice.
This woman, like doctorate, like very, very smart. She does all the tests. She says the only thing you're good, the only thing you need to change, you need to wake up 30 minutes before sunrise to study text and then watch the sun.
Wow.
And that was her like official doctor.
Whoa.
Oh,
now it's coming from the Tsar. Yeah.
All tapped into the same.
Amazing. Well,